Did you know the 257 rule could be the fastest way to shed body fat in 2025? It's backed by research, and I'm going to be breaking it down for you right away. So let's get into it. So number one, the two, that's confusing. Number one, of the 257 rule, the two part is 2 days of lifting. Now you could always do more, but minimum 2 days of lifting total body. I would recommend if you're going to do total body to only go up to like 3 days of lifting. You could do like 4 days of lifting, assuming, depending on how intense it was with total body. But if you're doing 4 days, I would switch to something like a push-pull, where you're doing your, chest and quads. You're doing your push muscles. You can look it up, a push-pull split on Google. But 2 days of total lifting is where I'm going to focus on here. And that's for each muscle group, obviously, total body. So that would be chest, back, quads, or like a squat, hamstrings. I throw in the glutes, but you don't have to necessarily because you're going to be hitting those a little bit during the squats. Biceps, triceps, and shoulders. Of course, it doesn't hit literally every muscle like calves, forearms. I don't train those, especially on a weight loss program. I don't think it's worth it. But 2 days of total lifting, 3 sets per body part. You could do more. You could do 4 sets per body part. And then once you get used to that, you could do 5. But that starts to become a lot. Like, how many would that be? 1, 2, 3. That's like 6. That's like 30 sets in a workout. And the last few sets, the last 10 sets, you're going to be pretty toast. Again, if the emphasis is fat loss, cardio is going to be your best friend, and watching your diet is going to be your best friend. Your diet is actually going to come first, then it's going to be cardio, and then it's going to be weightlifting. The goal of weightlifting here, though, and we're going to talk more about this with some bonus tips at the end. But the goal of weightlifting here is to keep your muscle. On a weight loss diet, if a person's really looking to hit 2025 hard, keep your muscle. That is the goal. You don't want to reach the end being skinny fat. You don't want to reach the end with a super slow metabolism because you didn't keep the muscle that was on your body. So please keep your muscle, lift 2 days a week, 3 sets per body part. And if you've never done this before, you're actually probably going to build muscle. So that's going to be kind of cool. Your basal metabolic rate, your metabolism is going to go up due to having more muscle. And so weightlifting along with cardio is definitely the winning formula. So the 2 of the 257 is 2 days of lifting. The 5 is going to be 5 days of cardio. Now, you will hear it frequently on social media that cardio is not the best way to lose weight. And I get what they're saying. It isn't if that's all you do. Like, you're not going to be able to out cardio a bad diet. You technically could if you did enough cardio, but you're not going to be able to out cardio a bad diet. And if you do a ton of cardio, you are going to waste away your muscle. And then, you're going to be caught in this cycle of not burning a whole lot of calories. And then, potentially gaining the weight back. That's what happens to a lot of people. I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure it might have happened to you where you lost 50 pounds and gained 55 back. And it could be because you lost some muscle along that way. Now, don't worry, you probably gained it back. That is the main issue, is that you end up losing all of your muscle. Or not all of it, of course, but a lot of it. So, cardio, though, I get what they're saying, but if you're lifting and you're eating enough protein, which we're going to talk about, you're not going to lose your muscle. And then cardio is the way to lose weight. It is going to be literally the biggest needle mover short term in 2025. Long term, if you're looking at 2030 and beyond, yes, muscle is going to be the best way of losing weight and keeping it off. But we could also do it kind of quicker and still, lose more and keep it off and look even better. So I don't understand why cardio. I guess cardio is demonized because people, they kind of like to hear it. Oh, I don't have to do endless amounts of cardio, and I think it gets more clicks. So probably already left this video because I'm telling you the truth. 5 days of cardio. Now, my favorite is the treadmill, and you might be dreading that. My second favorite, well, kind of equal, I guess, is the Stairmaster, and that's because on a bike or an elliptical, or a rowing machine, fill in the blank with almost, I think it's anything else. I think anything else, any other cardio machine. If you make it harder, you could accidentally be pedaling slower. It doesn't force you to pedal or to, move a certain speed. Whereas the treadmill, if you set it at 3 miles an hour, which we're going to talk about exact settings, if you set it at 3 miles an hour and 10% incline, if you can't keep up with that incline without holding onto the handrails, so this is like not holding onto the handrails or at least not pulling on them. You can hold onto them for balance gently. Don't squeeze them and pull on them. If you can't keep up, then you're not fit enough to keep up with 10%. You have to drop it down to, let's say, 2%. And then eventually, as you get more and more fit, you can keep up with 10%. And now you are more fit, burning more calories because you're walking up a higher hill. And you're not accidentally moving slower because the treadmill is still at 3 miles an hour. So it forces you to kind of use your fitness, so to speak. So here's how I would start. And again, this is all maneuverable. This is all, that might not be the right word, but I would start with 30 minutes. And you might not even start with 5 days a week. I would really like you to build up to 5 days a week. But you could start off with 2 to 3 days a week, and then add a third day, a fourth day, a fifth day, and then whenever you're at 5 days of 30 minutes, then you could do 40 minutes each day, and then you could do 45 minutes each day. And it's amazing when you have 5 days and you add 10 minutes to each. That's 50 extra minutes. And then whenever you go from 40 to 45, obviously that's 25 extra minutes total for the week. And then you could build up to an hour if you have the time for it. It's really going to help you. So the settings I would start with, there's nothing magical. There's no like settings. It's where you're at. But the settings I would start with are 3 miles an hour and 3% incline, just because it's easy to remember. But you could start off at 2.7, speed and a 0% incline, and just always be asking yourself, am I ready for 1% incline? Am I ready for 2% incline? And every week, you probably, maybe every week or two, you probably could add 0.5% or 1% to your incline. I would max it out about 3.5 miles an hour. I don't like walking faster than that, but perhaps that's just my leg length and my build. I don't like it. Almost turns into I would rather slowly jog, and walking fast does burn more calories than slowly jogging. So because it's less efficient, it's hard to walk really fast. That's why you kind of feel like starting to run. So I would pick something. It could be 3 miles an hour and 3% incline, and then as you get better, you level up. As you get more fit, you increase that incline. So the 7, I have an awesome free resource for you that is called the 30-Day Shape Up Challenge. It's 30 days of 4 habits that I run my clients through that is going to help you get a great start to your fat loss journey. And there's a bonus 5th habit in case you fall off the wagon at all. All my clients love it, and it's free. So just scan this QR code here or click the link in the description, and I'll send that straight to your email. And then I have 2 bonus tips for you right after that, which actually are just as important. I just didn't want to fit it into the 257, this super long rule. So 257 is just the beginning part of the rule. But number 7 is 7 days of food logging, which you're probably going to be like, oh my gosh, please no. But start simple, okay? It could just be, at first, it could just be packaged goods. Now, packaged food isn't the best way to eat. I get that. But if you are 300 pounds and you're looking at, fill in the blank, if you're 270, if you're 250, and you have significant weight to lose, going from 250 to 180, you're going to be so much healthier. I don't care if all you ate was McDonald's. Now, yes, of course, you could be healthier if you didn't eat McDonald's, packaged food, processed food, whatever. Of course. But let's first get to the weight loss, or at least start the weight loss, and then you can work on healthier choices after. So start simple. Start with everything that is scannable with a barcode. With MyFitnessPal, you don't have to pay for MyFitnessPal Premium if you, at least at the recording of this video, if you go in to your settings and you tell them you're from the UK. Tell them from the UK, barcode scanner is free. I'm currently using it free. Hopefully that's not bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm from the UK. Looks like it to me. Even if you want an Oreo or 2, log them. You're going to start learning what has a ton of calories. You're going to start learning what, is good and what's high protein, what's low protein, things like that. It's going to teach you so much. And what I would personally do, I usually say that hey, just do this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Ideally, you would keep it up, but if you hate it, then at least 2 or 3 weeks. And that's true. That's still true. But I would, for the purposes of this video and for the feel of this video, I would commit to 2025, 365 days of food logging. That's going to help you so much. I'm telling you, keeping track of your calories. Oh, and why is it 7? Why not 5 or 6? There are research studies that show that 3 or 4 days of food logging helped a person lose weight. But just imagine, instead of 3 days, doing 6 days. You're going to really be able to track your food and be more in control of your food. But also, you're not going to ruin it on the weekends. It is totally possible for a weekend to ruin a week of good eating. So that's why I would do all 7 days. That doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. I know I said challenge yourself to 365 days. But if it's 330 days out of the year, that's great. So challenge yourself to the to 365. But you don't have to hit it. Don't worry about streaks necessarily. They're cool, they're fun, but okay. And then sometime during the year, I would switch from just barcodes to basic recipes. So that might be something at first, I know that you're gonna be like, this isn't a recipe, and I get it. But at first, it could just be a sandwich. 2 pieces of bread, a certain amount of meat on there. Let's say 4 ounces or something from the package, and 1 sliced cheese. That is the basics of a recipe. Then you could move to, chili, a basic chili recipe. You log it in MyFitnessPal. You learn how putting all that in MyFitnessPal and then dividing it by a certain number of servings. The most frequent question, I should address this here, because if you start doing this, you're gonna wonder, is, how do I know how many servings this is? Like, how many cups do I have to measure the cups? And you could make a pot of chili and measure how many cups it is. That would be maddening. So what I do, you put it all into MyFitnessPal. Let's say it adds up to 2,000. I'm going to do this for easy math, so it's not going to be a perfect example. Let's say you go up to 2,000 calories. Is the entirety of the recipe. So all the meat you add in there, all the beans, all the tomatoes, 2,000 calories. And then you divide that into 4 meals. Each meal will obviously be 500 calories, 2,000. And MyFitnessPal will do all that for you. But then you have to decide, well, how do I know what 4 is? How do I get 4 evenly spaced out meals? What I do is I take that entire pot of chili. So I pour it into a bowl, which is on the food scale. So you put the bowl on the food scale, press tare, now it's at 0. Whenever you zero it out and you pour in the chili, it's going to say, hypothetically, let's say it says 10,000 grams. It will not be nearly 10,000 grams, but I want to do this for easy math. Let's say it's 10,000 grams. You take 10,000 divided by 4, because you already decided that earlier, and now 2,500 grams is the amount of grams you'll need for an exact serving. So you can put all of that into the fridge. You could even leave it in the pot if you wanted to. And then, next time, put a bowl on the scale, press tare, press 0, put chili into the bowl until it says 2,500, and boom, you got an exact serving. You don't have to measure out cups and stuff like that. Now, to make this a little more realistic, because that was kind of unrealistic, it might say something like 3,000 grams, something close to that. Let's say it says 2,896 grams, and you divide that by 4. 724 grams is going to be a serving of chili for your exact recipe. So anyways, wanted to speak into recipes real quick, but that's going to be very powerful if you learn how to do recipes instead of just eating chicken, a protein, a carb, and a vegetable. Some people like that. That's fine, but I don't. It kills me. So I have to have recipes, and I have to have a way of keeping track of my recipes precisely. So if I want pizza, there's low carb tortilla pizza recipes and stuff like that. So anyways, get into recipes. TDEE calculator, total daily energy expenditure. Look that up, and that will give you your starting point for calories. And that's just where I would start. Based off your results, if your weight's going down, stick with it. If your weight is flat, then take away 250 calories and see what happens there. And as you add cardio, let's say you're early in the process, and I'm about to give you these bonus tips. So this still kind of applies to the bonus tips as well. Let's say you're early in the process and you're doing more cardio and more steps as you go. You are going to be, you may not need to lower the calories because you're going to increase calorie burn. So next is going to be steps tracking. It's an underrated, I'm telling you, underrated habit. So I would start off with 8,000 steps. That's hard for a lot of people, I find. A lot of my clients cannot get 8,000 steps because they have a desk job, and I get it. But I think a person really needs to go out of their way to try and get 8,000 steps. That's the minimum. If you're able to get 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, that's great. I'll just go right into the next cards. That's what it says. Find your max and keep it consistent. The reason for this is because you might have heard stories about people who, I had, clients that say, I started doing, before they come to me, I started doing cardio and I stopped losing weight, or I couldn't lose weight and I just felt stuck. And it maybe they heard that they're burning too many calories, so their body's holding on to body fat. That is ridiculous. It's just not even possible. A lot of times what happens is a person is increasing their cardio, increasing their steps, increasing their workouts, whatever. They will subconsciously eat more, but we got that checked off already with the food logging, and they'll subconsciously move less. Usually a combination of both. So if they burn off 300 calories doing cardio and they increase their calorie consumption by 100, that's not very hard to do at all. That's an extra serving of ranch. It's super easy. So if they increase their calorie consumption by 100 and they move a lot less throughout the day, reducing their calorie burn by 200, then they broke even. They may as well have not done cardio. And a lot of times it'll actually be, if they didn't do cardio, they end up moving more and eating so much less that they're on a net positive for not doing cardio. But cardio is very heart healthy. And if you keep track of your steps and your calories from food logging and your steps, and you keep them consistent, then you won't accidentally drop the steps off, and you won't accidentally increase your calories. So all of that extra calorie burn will be coming from body fat, at least a very high percentage of it. So let's get into the last bonus tip. Protein. Got to eat enough protein. 1 gram per pound of body weight is what I suggest. Really try to get to 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you have a lot of weight to lose, then doing 1 gram per pound of mass, of ideal body weight. So if you're 300 pounds and you envision yourself being really happy, like in the weight you were in college at 200 pounds, then eat 200 grams of protein. I might increase it a little bit, 215 grams of protein, something like that. But eat whatever your ideal weight is. That's going to be enough protein. But why are we so focused on protein? It's not just a bodybuilder bro thing. So it keeps muscle. Very important. Remember at the beginning how I said your goal throughout this journey is probably just to keep muscle. You will build a little bit of muscle if you're new to this, but your ultimate goal should be to lose fat while keeping your muscle. You can build muscle later. Let's focus on getting rid of this fat. Not that necessarily conflicts, but it is easier to build muscle in a calorie surplus. And if you have a lot of fat to lose, I wouldn't be in a calorie surplus. So keep your muscle, very important. And just by simply eating more protein and lifting, you can keep almost all of it. Okay. Second, you'll stay full. You'll be more full. You'll naturally eat less calories. That's a win-win-win. And then this is probably I don't know. They're all important. Free calorie burn. So out of every 100 calories you take in of protein, roughly only 70% is usable. So only 70 calories is usable out of every 100, which is kind of cool. You burn 30 calories just processing the 100 calories of protein. And so now you only have 70 left to do what, fat, if you took it in fat, 100 calories, it would have taken 2 calories to process that fat. I really think it is that little. And so now you get free calorie burn. All in all, bringing this together, you got 2 days of lifting, 5 days of cardio, 7 days of food logging. That's the 2-5-7 rule. And then bonus, very important, is keeping track of your steps, minimum of 8,000, and getting enough protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight of your ideal weight. And that right there is going to be the plan.